I know you've heard me talk about the fact that 95% of leaders think they're self-aware and only 10% actually are, according to the Harvard Business Review. More and more every day in the workplace, leaders are struggling to manage and lead their team, and team members are struggling to work with their leaders. Hi, my name is Natalina Nasruddin. I'm the CEO and founder of Rise Up For You, and welcome to Rise Up For You TV. My team and I are all about supporting your organization and you as an individual to be your absolute best by building the skills that we hardly ever talk about. That's the soft skills, the emotional and social intelligence, the communication, your leadership presence, your self-confidence, the skills that actually make up about 75% of your success, not only professionally, but also personally. Now, one of the biggest challenges that we see when we work with our clients and when we enter our workplace is that leaders don't always know how they're showing up to their team, and their emotional and self-awareness is actually lacking. Now, I mentioned the statistic in the beginning of this video that 95% of us think we're self-aware and only 10% actually are, and I can absolutely attest to that as a former executive. When I was an executive at 27, I had hundreds of team members under my leadership. I thought I was the best leader ever. I thought I was absolutely amazing. And one day I decided to do an anonymous survey just to check myself and grow as a leader. And 75% of my team said I was intimidating, not relatable, and I looked mad all the time. Now that was a huge shocker for me because I just didn't realize. I actually thought that I was coming across warm and fuzzy and that I was coming across as a great leader that anybody could come and talk to. And in fact, I was showing the complete opposite. So today I want to dive into the 5 levels of emotional awareness to help you build self-awareness. And this is what we call the Piaget emotional awareness theory. There's 5 steps that happen when we are building emotions. And in order for us to become aware of our emotions, which is a key pillar of self-awareness, we have to understand that 5-step process. So when a situation happens, when an experience happens, we can go through anywhere between 3 to 5 steps of this Piaget model, and I'm gonna break it down for you now. The first step is a visceral activation. So what that means is that when a situation happens, or that when you have a feeling, you have a visceral reaction, meaning that you feel it somewhere in your body. Maybe you feel an emotion and then your throat chokes up. Or maybe you feel an emotion and you feel nervousness in your stomach. So a visceral reaction is showing that you are actually feeling something physical when an emotion in your body occurs. That's step number 1. Step number 2 in the Piaget model is what we call behavioral activation. Now, this is when you feel the emotion first, and then secondly, a behavior happens. Now, sometimes those behaviors can be very aggressive. We can become very angry. We can lose management and control. We can build a lot of stress. And sometimes the behaviors can become more passive, where we decide to become more introverted. We decide not to take an action. Maybe we close our mouth and we don't say anything. But whatever it is, some kind of behavior does exist. That's step number 2. Step number 3 in the Piaget model is what we call single emotion. This means that you're able to identify one emotion that you're feeling. So you might be able to say, well, I feel angry, I feel upset, I feel frustrated, I feel excited. But single emotion activation means that you've developed the awareness to identify the one emotion that you are feeling. Step number 4 is what we call blended activation. Okay? And what that means is that you have built a self-awareness where you actually can identify multiple emotions that you're feeling. So for example, you could say, I feel frustrated, but I also have empathy towards you in the situation that's going on. So you can identify that there's multiple emotions that you're feeling. I know a few years back when I did my TEDx talk live for an audience, I was really nervous and I was excited. So that would be a perfect example of blended emotion when it comes to the Piaget model. And finally, step number 5 is what we call blend plus blend activation. That means that I have built a self-awareness so heightened that I have become aware of my emotions, and I've also been able to identify the emotion in the person that I'm talking to or communicating with across from me. So I can recognize that I feel frustrated and I'm very upset, and I can also recognize that you're hurt and upset about the situation. So I am now aware of both myself and the person that is around me. This is the 5 steps to the Piaget model of emotional awareness, really the most critical step to building self-awareness. When you're able to understand the emotions that you feel, then you're able to move on to step 2 of emotional intelligence, which is to be able to manage it. But it's hard to manage something that you have no awareness over. So just again, as a little recap, we have a visceral reaction, we have the behavioral reaction, we have the single emotion activation, the blended emotion activation, and the last one is blend plus blend, which is the highest level of emotional awareness, where I'm aware of my emotions and I can also identify and become aware of your emotions as well. As leaders, it's really important that we start to understand how we are showing up for our team and even just for ourselves. You know, transformational leadership always starts with personal leadership. Again, my name is Natalina Nastardine. I'm the CEO and founder of Rise Up For You, and welcome to Rise Up For You TV. Every single week, we're bringing you new content for you and your team to be your absolute best. And hey, if you need any support with your team, whether it's coaching, training, or even online development, our team is here to help, and we would love to support you. Simply click on the link below, set up an informative call, and either myself or a team member will jump on, get to know you, and share a little bit more about us. I'll see you next time.